I'll begin now. So who are we? Well, we're a team of experts in different disciplines required to do clinical trials, and we can help you develop new proposals for funding. So we're academic researchers and professional trial support employees who are embedded within Newcastle Clinical Trials Unit and the Population Health Sciences Institute. And our remit, and we're very grateful for the funding from the Sir Bobby Robson Foundation. The funding is to develop cancer trials that will improve the lives of patients in the North East. So that doesn't necessarily mean that the trial needs to be led in the North East, although we imagine most of the trials that we support the development of would be, but perhaps that the North East is within the trial, or that there's potential for the trial to improve treatment of patients in the North East. So here's the people who are involved. So Rebecca and myself are the co-leads. So Rebecca is in the Newcastle Clinical Trials Unit. I'm in the Population Health Sciences Institute. We also have Helen Hancock, who's the Clinical Trials Unit Director as part of the team, and Natasha and Svetlana are respectively the methodologist and biostatistician who are funded to help develop your proposals for clinical trials. So here's a picture of all of us except Rebecca, who I think was on maternity leave at the time, with Sir Bobby Robson's widow, Lady Elsie, and Ruth Plummer as well, who's a clinical professor and does a lot of work with the Sir Bobby Robson Foundation. So that was nice to meet Lady Elsie. So what can we do for you? Well, we work with clinical researchers to develop funding proposals. So that involves us using our knowledge of different funding panels and opportunities to signpost you to appropriate funding. We can help you with the trial design, and that includes our expertise in innovative methods like adaptive designs, which we'll hear a bit more about from Michael. We can also help you write the best possible grant application, and we can also link you with additional expertise required, such as health economics or maybe evidence synthesis or other disciplines. And we can also collaborate in the delivery of a trial if the funding allows for that, and also our capacity allows for that. So we can, if we can't collaborate on it, we might be able to put you in touch with people who could. So if you've come across the research design service, then that might sound quite similar to the RDS. And in fact, several of us are also RDS advisors. I think where we come in, and the RDS does a fantastic job with providing advice and helping with grant applications, but where we come in is we bridge the gap between the advice that RDS provides and the development of the grant application that's required before submission. So RDS is very much focused on advice, and we're more of the transition from that advice to actually applying for the grant. But of course, do bear in mind the RDS exists and does a great job. So there's our website. So I wanted to provide a small case study of something we've done that maybe illustrates the type of thing we can help with. So this is called the sarcocyte trial. And this, so in Newcastle, a new technique for doing surgery was developed, which involved using a fluorescent dye injected into the patient, and then using a camera that would fluoresce the dye and allow guidance of the surgeon during the surgery. And the idea of this is it would allow more precise removal of the tumour, so it could allow removing as much as possible, but without removing healthy tissue. And so there's a news report discussing this. So Kenneth Rankin is the orthopedic surgeon who is very much developing this technique and has used it in quite a few surgeries. And actually at our first event we ran, Kenneth approached us and was interested in seeing how he could get this method into practice through doing an evaluation. so that it could be used more widespreadly in the NHS. So it's been used in a growing number of sarcoma surgeries, especially locally in the area, and it appears very promising in terms of the case reports. So the trials team has been working with KNF to develop a proposal for a trial in the area, so that this could provide the high quality evidence needed to allow it to be adopted into the NHS. So the challenges have been finding the most appropriate funding body, and so we've been helping with that, and we're currently putting in an application to the NIHR MRC panel EMI, which we'll hear more about later, and ensuring that the trial design, especially the endpoints that are collected, is appropriate to answer the research question. But yes, so I've said this, and I think one thing that maybe illustrates what we could do that the RGS might not be able to do is Svetlana, as the statistician involved in the team, has been helping to analyse some data that's been collected that's looked at linking the outcomes of surgeries in terms of how much tumour was removed with longer term clinical outcomes of the patients. So with this, we can help influence the trial design and make sure that the level of evidence for doing the trial is as high as possible. But of course, this involves some work, so having the funding for Svetlana to do that has been really useful. So if you listen to us today and you think this sounds interesting and you'd like to have us help support a research proposal, then first of all, of course, you have to have an idea for it, and then review the literature to see if your idea is relevant and whether it's been done before. Make some notes of your ideas and any questions you might have, and then you can contact us and we'll arrange a meeting with you to discuss further, and we'll take it from there to help guide you through the process to submitting a grant application. Before I pass on to Michael, I just wanted to note, as I said at the beginning, this is not the first event we've run, and each time we try to mix up the presentations we do in terms of what we cover. So we have some presentations on YouTube from the last event we ran, which might be of interest, including pilot and feasibility trials, basic trial design, and using high dimensional biomarker data. And yeah, we have a YouTube channel, which you can click on this link to access and see those videos if you're interested. But some of the talks today are pretty similar to ones that we did before. So what we'll be covering today, well, Michael will be talking about early phase trial design. We'll have a short break, and then Natasha and Svetlana have put together a lot of information about different grant funding bodies that fund cancer trials and some suggestions on what might be appropriate. And finally, Rebecca will talk about how to put in the best quality grant that you possibly can.